everyone, Susie here from Minnesota, and I garden in a zone 4, and today I'm just going to be doing a bunch of little jobs in my flower beds. So I thought I'd just do some filming of this and show you what I do on when I get a day off or when I feel up to it. The weather is beautiful. I'm digging up these daylilies. I just don't think these spots are optimal for them, and I will be transplanting them into one of my veggie beds that I cleaned out. It's going to be a holding bed for now. I don't want to get rid of them, but I'm not sure what I want to do with them yet. It has been a breezy one for the last, I would say, 4 days. So this is where I'm putting them. This is where my cucumbers were, and they're just done. So I'm going to treat this like a holding bed. And this is how I plant all of my perennials and shrubs and trees. I pre-water the hole first. This might seem like a lot, but we are extremely dry. That might seem like a lot, but you'll see. But I'll just get this one going. See how that drains? It's a nice thing about vegetable or the raised beds, but that's also when we're in a drought, not so good either. Keeping this stuff watered and hydrated, yeah. All right, that looks good. So I got my clump here. I wish I could set you up somewhere, but there's really no good space in here, and I'd probably be in the way for most of it. I'm just firming it in here. And again, lots of water. We were supposed to have storms the other night and a good amount of rain, and nothing. Just a little lightning, a little thunder, very little rain. It looked promising at the start, but it just petered out. And I cut off the majority of the foliage, so it puts all its energy into forming good roots. All right, I think that's good. All right, on to the next one. These daylilies are going bananas. They have a really pretty yellow bloom, and I didn't want to get rid of them quite yet. I'm not in love with daylilies, but I do like that color it offers. I already pre-watered this hole. I have done this before with perennials, and it's worked out just fine. And if we have one of those winters where it's extremely cold, like, 'cause I'm not quite sure I want to do with these, so but at least I'm trying to figure something out. I have not seen many of these around. Just repositioning you here. All right. In the fall, I will cover this all with leaves. That will also help protect it. I've grown tulips in these beds before. They work out just fine, so. All right. On to the next job. Okay, this is where I had the daylilies. And I don't think they were getting the sun that they needed. It could have been other things. It could have been the year that we were having to. So, but I liked that grassy texture, so I decided to go with this. This does say can take part shade, and it is the tufted hairgrass, Deschampsia Pixie Fountain. So we'll see. It says 12 to 18 inches in width. So I think it'll look good here. On the side it says a little bit bigger, but we'll see. Again, I'm going to pre-water my hole. I don't know if you can see how dry we are. What I want to do is I just want to make sure, and I love this size, that it'll fit in here. So the reason I do that, and I do that with all of my plants, is to make sure that there's wet soil at the roots right away. This way there's no doubt that, you know, at the bottom of the hole that it's wet. And it's so dry, you can see it's draining pretty good. So this is pretty root bound. I'm just gonna rip it. Nice root system. And everything was well hydrated too. The only time I really use biotone is late in the season when they don't have a really long period to get good roots, because I mean, I'm Minnesota, so we could be looking at the next freeze here, I would say 4 or 5 weeks. Fingers crossed it's a lot longer than that, but it could happen. The ground will still be fine, but this just gives it a really good start. Otherwise, I don't use biotone at the start of the season. I do wear gloves with it. The other thing that I find with it, my beagle really likes the scent of that, so I do have to be careful. This is around my dog fence area. He does go a little crazy about it, but it also brings in the flies. That's just from what I've seen. So there is a smell to it. Kind of seeing that it's centered. I'll probably put it back a little bit. Do I really like that? I want to go a little more forward. And I like to plant my perennials just a little higher than the ground level, and go away. And only reason being is because they always sink on me. So this way they're at ground level whenever everything settles. That's just what I find in my area. All right. Oh. I had gotten this grass. I did a plant haul and I have that posted, but this was from greatgardenplants.com. They did cut it, I'm sure, for shipping, but that is a beautiful clump. Now I'm going to water it in. All right, I can't wait to see that fill out next year. I hope it does what I want it to do. I just like that texture along with the lady's mantle with those broad leaves and then the hardy geranium over here. I know it gets a good amount of sun because my hardy geranium bloomed like crazy. I think the daylilies need a little more. They do better in full sun is what I find. So let's plant the next one. And I do like to dig a pretty good hole around it. I go as much as I can. This is where the daylily was, so this is at least 3 times the size of this, just so the roots have really good soil to spread out and it's really loose. Otherwise the ground was concrete. So this is just hopefully getting it off to a good start. But again, it is just, I break up the clumps too. I like mulch, I just don't want it right up to the crown of the plant. now I'm going to water it in. All right, I'm going to get the other two planted. I'm just going to kind of give you a look as to how it looks. I mean, it's not going to look amazing, but you know, I can't wait for next year. Okay, I will show you the end results or progress. So yes, it looks a little bit small. So this is where I said this year it's not going to look great, but just envision it next year as kind of, I don't know, mounding, graceful. So, and I like the size of those perennials. It's so easy to plant them. You don't have to dig that big of a hole, because when I say 3 times that size, it's not all that big. And they weren't predicting rain for today, but I don't know, can you see how dark it is? Like, yay! So that's why I was hurrying up and getting some stuff done. So I've been at this for quite a bit. Not this part, I'll show you a different one. So you can definitely see where there's more room over here. Things just over on this side don't do as well as the other one. I think it's just my big trees with their roots. I'm hoping the grasses are a little bit better. And so I'm gonna flip over here and get my mess cleaned up before, fingers crossed, we get some rain. And so in this area, I've been kind of moving things around. So I moved the Pachysandra to the front. I put one of the crested surf Japanese painted ferns right there. I know at some point this will be a little bit tight, but I am the type of gardener that I don't want to see ground at some point. Less waiting, and I like that full lush feeling. I moved a bunch of stuff in here. I'm still debating if I want to go with a shrub, smaller, but I'm still thinking on that, but I think it's a good spot for something a little bit bigger. And I left all of this so far. I'm giving the Muckgenia another year. Over here, so I moved, this grass was over here and I moved it in here. So just kind of like a little swoop, a little bit closer. It takes forever for those to fill in. And to tell the truth, they're not exactly hardy to my zone. I think it's solar flare, Hakanakolo grass. If they got more sun, they would be more gold looking. So, which I'm thinking a hukra over here would be nice. I definitely have more than enough of them. I had moved this summon substance just over a little bit. It was here, very close to the azalea. So I'm just giving it more room. That was well rooted, so very happy. I was very surprised with that one. Summon substance. Moved another Pachysandra just here. I put the crested surf Japanese painted fern right there. So thinking on some stuff, very dry in here. And then here I have astilbes that I took from the back of my garden that I just split pretty much into 4, and I created just a little bit of a drift in here. So I'm hoping it does good. And here, another one of the Japanese painted ferns. And then this is the 3rd time for moving this astilbe. This one was the one that was over here with those tiny little bloom stalks. If you're familiar with my tours, one more chance. If it doesn't have a really nice bloom next year, it's gone. 3 times is pretty much it in my garden. This was super dry, so I'm still debating about, I took all that out. And those were just some coleus. They weren't doing the best, so they were over back here. I wasn't liking them. Oh, I'm trying to figure out, why do I have a hole here? What was I think I was gonna move these ferns and back up front. I still might do that, try and beat the rain. I say rain, but it doesn't happen. So yeah, so I've been a bit busy. I think I'll like it. I'm always moving stuff around, and this is the perfect time to move it. And if we get a rain, you can't ask for anything better than that. The summon substance at some point will probably be too big for this area, but I will deal with it then. I struggle with azaleas. That may not make it next year. I'm thinking possibly a heuchera here. This is just an ajuga ground cover, so if I chop up bits of it, it'll be fine. But yeah, now I gotta clean up my mess, and I still might move those really sad looking ferns back there. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this day of me doing some little odd jobs. I would have liked to have shown you in here what I was doing, but I was really trying to beat the rain, and I was back and forth all over my garden. But I just want to show you some of the progress that I've been making. Still have loads to plant, but this is so fun. All right, bye for now.